welcome to the all-new CT to CEO podcast. And let me tell you, this is a podcast like no other. It's unfiltered, it's raw. We don't even really have questions. So let me go ahead and introduce you to our first guest. And our first guest is my good friend, my G, my dog, the owner, the co-owner of Lepley's, Tyler Lepley's manager, and foster mom, philanthropist. What else can we say about her? Jovi York. Not from New York, but Jovi York.
Girl's a clown.
Yeah, so listen. Thank you, Jovi, for coming on. I appreciate you. I want to get into, I want you to tell the people, who you are. Give them a little rundown, a little skinny, because if you don't know, it's Big Jove, not the little one. So tell them who you are, Jove.
Jovi, man, from Tampa. Been here pretty much my whole life. Family's more so Rhode Island, Connecticut, back and forth, but Tampa's home. I started basketball player, thought I was going to play basketball the rest of my life. Came into loving the party a little bit more than playing basketball, and who knew that partying was going to take me to a whole different world. And with that being said, I did promotions for the last 10 years. Over the years of promoting, I actually owned a couple group homes, worked for a couple group homes. I take care of my community. Town and country is really where I'm from and raised.
Carol Baskins.
You know what I'm saying? Carol Baskins, my homie, so, we keep it moving. I'm a Tampa native, and, I just been here doing my thing and just want to keep doing my thing for the city that I love. So it's really what it is.
That's a vibe. And, Jovi is a very humble person. And so I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell y'all that when I first met her, I didn't even know about, the kids. And so, every year you do a turkey giveaway, right?
Yeah,
so,
turkey giveaway.
Yeah. So she goes back to her roots and gives away these turkeys, and she partners with, several of her entrepreneur friends. And so for me, I love that because it's giving back. Now, on the flip side of that, one year she hit me up and she was like, yo, we giving away to kids. Everybody's going to get a kid. Let me know if you in. So we basically got some kids that, they were part of the system.
Yeah,
right?
They were part of the agency that I was working for at the time. So I was working for them, but I was also partnering with them. So it was kind of like a good collaboration. So, I got a couple people together. I got you, got a couple other people. We just selected families that we knew that needed to have a Christmas. So CT stepped up, gave her a family, gave her a little young boy, about 6, 7 years old. The whole target is I always make sure every kid goes, doesn't go out for Christmas. We can't get every kid, but we try to get what we can get, and that's just always been my biggest passion.
And I love that. And that's one thing that she and I have always connected on is philanthropy. And I think that's big. Now, so tell me, how do you go from giving the kids what they need to at night giving the girls the bottles, making sure that the fellas are straight when they come in, buying the sections? How you go from philanthropy during the day to basically just, live and city boy, city girl, entertainment. How you go to that?
It's a balance. I don't want to even say it's a balance. It's just me. At the end of the day, throughout the day, I can sleep all day, but sleeping ain't going to do nothing for me. So, I always pick up the habit of, if I ain't doing much, I make sure I take porn of my kids. I always make sure I have my time free from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. when the kids are in school, out of school, and after school curriculum. It's a balance, but then again, it's not a balance because my kids come with me throughout the day and do all my errands that I need for the nighttime. So I kind of teach these kids entrepreneurship on the flip side. So most of my kids are all middle school and high school kids. So I won't even say that it's a flip or a balance. It's just my everyday life. Whatever I'm doing in the daytime, I feel like I can pass it on to a youth that is looking for a direction. Because I remember when I really had no direction in life. When I played ball, I thought ball was my life. And when I messed up, I stopped playing basketball and, was partying and drinking. I lost everything that I had, from scholarships to everything. I kind of felt like at that point in my life, things were just really going downhill for sure. And I just want to make sure these kids know, you can mess up as many times as you want, but there's always still a come up. So I teach my kids, man, they ride with me throughout the day. I mean, if I'm picking up a kid from school and they call me and say, hey, one of your kids act up, can you come grab him? I go grab him. But guess what? They not coming to hang out. They not coming just to have a little free day. You know, whatever Jovi has to do, you gonna do it. And if you got to sit in a meeting with me for 4 hours, you going to sit in a meeting for 4 hours. If you got to go pick up some drinks for the club for that night and we got to go and do a little store run and get some apple juice, some orange juice, or whatever it is, you pick up the pellets, you put it in my car and you dropping them off. At the end of the day, it's just really showing these kids, like, listen, you can act up, you can do everything you want to do, but your life is your choice. So I'd rather just show you to just do it. I mean, like I said, ain't no balance for me, man. It's just the everyday life for me. It's just whatever I'm doing, my kids is doing. If I'm at the mall shopping, them kids is at the mall shopping if their grades permit.
And I love that.
You know what I'm saying? It's reality, bro. It's like, you know, I don't have no kids of my own, but at the same time, like.
But wait, do you want some? We're gonna have to get into the love a little bit later. We gotta get into like what's that love life like? But before we go there, tell me, like, so you've always been a hustler. Like, since I've known you, you've been a hustler. Like, you have, you know, had some of the hottest nights, like literally. Before I even got acclimated with Tampa, I used to go to this one spot. And let me tell you, they had daycation there. And if you from Tampa, you already know what I'm talking about. But they used to have these daycation parties, and Jovi and a couple of other people used to host them. And it was primarily Jovi who was like running the whole show. And I'm telling you, they had the best parties alive. Like, I probably met like... No, y'all did. I'm telling you, it was lit. Like, I mean, you could find like the intellectual baddies. Like, you could find any type of chick with a plethora of like intellect, from degrees to, I mean, you found the hustlers. I ain't saying the strippers was in there, but you did find some baddies. They was there? Oh, but they was dressed up though. So tell me, like, what inspires your hustle? Like, you talked about the kids and like just, you know, how you feel about giving back and just making sure that you take care of the next generation. And I think that's at the core of you, right? Mm-hmm. But what really pushes your hustle? Because it's going to be people listening to this podcast that really want to know, like, how do you go from, you know, losing scholarships and feeling down to like climbing back up that ladder and saying, regardless, I ain't stopping, can't stop, won't stop. How do you do that?
Never go broke again. That's honestly the truth.
Okay, NBA.
I mean, I tell you right now, my lowest point in my life was when I was living in Houston with my ex, and I was low. So at that moment, when I came back from Houston, you know, I really came back. I was having anxiety because I had no money, lost it all in Houston. You know, I just came to a point in my life where it was just like, you know, having money's cool, but having money to build an empire is number one. So for me, the motivation has always been my family. It's always been just living that life that I wanted. I mean, again, I know what I want for myself. I know what I want for the future. I know what I want. I like nice things. I like to live a certain lifestyle.
Clearly, she here with Gucci, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Still broke, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, to me, it's just, I don't ever want to have that feeling again. That was probably one of the worst, lowest feelings of my life. Was literally not having nothing. I couldn't go to my parents for no money because at that point, I was 21, 22. Hey, you made your mistakes. You got to live with them. You got to figure it out on your own, which I always appreciate them for that. Back then, I didn't appreciate them then, but now I do. Because honestly, without that, I probably would have never really went and had that hustle. Because I'll tell everybody straight up, I grew up a spoiled kid. Yeah. I had everything. I grew up, both parents, not together, but in my life. Had every brand new pair of Jordans, every pair of freaking Gucci's, anything that I wanted, Jovi got it. You would have thought I was the only child the way my lifestyle really was as a kid, and that's just the honest truth. So when I got older and I started getting to that 18, 19, parents were still funding me, still making sure I was good. I had my first job at 16 working for the Hillsborough County Park and Recs.
Oh, wow.
And I was making bank then, but I was taking the money, being 16, making $1,000 every 2 weeks.
Big money, Joe.
You know what I'm saying? Taking my friends out, hanging out, popping bottles when we ain't supposed to. So parents are still paying the bills, paying for whatever I need. So again, I grew up very spoiled. So when my parents cut me off in that 21, 22 age and I really had to figure it out, and I really ended up having a girlfriend that I had to protect, you know,
Woo.
take care of and do everything, it was go time. It was just like, you love this girl, you want this girl to stay with you, but what you gonna do to really provide for her?
Yeah.
So, you know, at the time, you know, she was definitely, you know, she was the love of my life at the time. So, you know, I definitely wanted to provide for her.
Wait, at the time,
Yeah, at the time.
you can have more than one?
Huh?
You got more than one love in your life?
Yeah, you can. It
Man,
happens.
this
When
Big
you-
Joe, y'all heard
when
it.
you young, that was the love of your life at the time. You get older, it's gonna happen. You figure it out, 1, 2, 3, you'll figure it out. But
Yo.
you know what I'm saying? But at the time, that girl really was, you know, who I was pushing to be better for. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out, but even so, you know, it didn't work out. The dreams were there regardless. You know what I'm saying? The dreams were there regardless. I wasn't gonna be no failure because at the end of the day, and if you know me, you know this. My family never were the biggest supporters of me being a promoter.
Yeah.
They were always team play basketball. Basketball is where it's at because I was good at it, and that's all my parents knew was basketball, basketball, basketball. So when I stopped playing ball, I lost my scholarship, stopped doing everything. My parents really weren't rocking with me. They weren't fucking with me. They was really on some like, you fucked up our dream, and in real reality, it was never really my dream. I just was happy with it because my parents was happy with it.
That's
You know what I'm
good.
saying? So when it came down to reality and I lost the scholarship, it was just like, you know what? Things happen. You wasn't even that happy anymore playing basketball. You got real, you know, complacent with partying and hanging out and this and that. But who knew partying led into a career as well? So as I started learning the game and start learning what promotion was, start learning that all these house parties that I was throwing, I could have took it to a nightclub and started making money. Like things just started rolling in so many different ways that I was just like, bro, this is me. Like I like to, you know, hang around people. I like to throw good events. I like to be around people that I love and, you know, support. I want everybody to come support me. Like it was just something that just fell naturally into my life, but my parents never supported it.
So let me ask you this. Your parents didn't support the party promoting. Did you ever have any issues? Because, you know, June is Pride Month. Of course, Juneteenth. It's a very diverse month. And, you know, by the time the viewers see this podcast, it'll probably be July. But ultimately, I want to ask you, did they ever struggle with, like, your sexuality or, like, you know, accepting you because of the decisions that you made? You lost a scholarship. Did they ever kind of, like, utilize that as a crutch to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing this? Or like, did you feel like you got family support? Because I think it's important as an entrepreneur, and especially as a LGBTQ plus IA identifier in the community, that we kind of discuss a little bit about like how that can be being an entrepreneur, figuring out yourself, figuring out who you are, how you want to, you know, show who you are to the world. I think that's important.
Man, I tell you, it's a funny story for me. I was a late bloomer into coming out the closet, to be honest with you.
So you came out the closet.
I didn't even really come out the closet. I'll just be very transparent. Again, I grew up very sheltered. Very Catholic home. Mom, grandmother, sister, grandfather. Like, that was really my household. It was crazy because, like, I just played ball. I played ball. I didn't know nothing about dating. I ain't know nothing about girls, like a girl. I ain't know nothing about that. I just played basketball, went to church with my grandmother, and just play ball. Tournaments every weekend, practice every day, homework every day. It was just a regular schedule for me all the time. So when I got to high school is when I started realizing I like girls. I just started seeing girls around me, just started thinking it was beautiful. I'm like, damn, like, da-da-da. Dabble and dabble with some men here and there, but it really wasn't like,
It wasn't sticking.
It wasn't sticking, but again, at the same time, it was just like, I ain't know nothing about nothing. Like, to be honest with you, I was just so...
So you was green.
I was very green. I was very green to drinking. I was very green to smoking. I was very green to a lot of things. So again, I always tell myself, like, how my story plays out to me really surprises me in so many ways because I grew up in this whole late blooming stage that I didn't know much of everything. So I found myself out real late in life. So when I hit that 9th grade stage and I was starting to hang around, I was always hanging around the baddest bitches though. Always.
So you kept a group of baddies.
It was always that. I don't know what that was about, transpired. It just always happened.
But you still like that to this day.
And I just don't know how it happens, but it happens. But in 9th grade, I was always hanging out with the cutest, always hanging out with the all kind. I was always with him. It doesn't matter whatever he was, Jovi was hanging out with you. I had my own group of friends, 10 of them. We was all so close. Didn't like none of them because they was really like my sisters, but there was other girls I'd be like, damn, that bad, this and that. So, long story short, falling through, was just dating girls randomly, liking girls randomly, crushing on girls randomly.
But how you do that though? Like how you just pop out, know you like these girls, like what did you say to them? Like would you like
Honestly, I was the worst with game because I didn't know how to spit game. And I remember my first girlfriend ever. I remember my first time when I met my first girlfriend, I was at G Bar. It's my first gay club I ever went to.
Oh my God.
First gay club I ever went to, and I'm like 20, 21, 22. First time ever going to a gay bar. I had my little gay crowd, hanging around them. They took me there, and I seen this girl that I was following on Facebook, and I just choked up, man.
Was this during MySpace time?
This was during MySpace and MySpace and Facebook, all that, the beginning of Facebook type of deal. And I went up to her. I saw the girl in person. And I was like, first off, this is my first time going to a gay club, but I've always been in a straight club.
Oh.
So when I got to the gay club, I seen they didn't have no bottle service. I was ready for bottle service. So I was like, yo, can I buy bottles? And they were just like, yeah, but nobody really does that here. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to do it. So I went and I popped my first 2 Grey Goose in the gay club. And I saw that chick from Facebook. Then I went up to her. I had the liquor courage. Went up to her and I was like, hey, I follow you on Facebook.
Not I follow you on Facebook. Yo, if y'all listening, don't try it. Don't try that. Don't try that.
So I went up to her and she looked at me like, okay. Then I was just like, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really know what more to say. So I went back to the section with my homies and I was getting fucked up, this and that, the next and that. Then the next day I hit her up and I seen she was on Facebook asking about if anybody knew how to fix a Sprint phone. And I was working for Sprint at the time. So I was like, shit.
Coming to the rescue.
I was like, yo, what kind of phone you looking for? And she was like, da-da-da. So anyways, from there we hit it off. And from there, 2 years later, moved to Houston with her. You know what I'm saying? Did our thing.
Oh, you was in love.
4 years, didn't work out. Shit happens for a reason. It's all good. But I say this, like, my family didn't really care. Because I guess they kind of already knew.
Okay.
The only one that kind of really gave me the biggest problem was my mom. That was just the biggest one. My grandmother, before she passed, she knew. She just didn't want to mention it to me. She just was like, whatever makes Jovi happy, makes Jovi happy.
I love that, though.
You know what I'm saying? Because my grandma really was my heart. So when you really put it in perspective, like, who really mattered the most is my grandmother.
Yeah.
But my mother, she had a hard time accepting it. But I remember one day, my Aunt Betty, she's gay. And she has a wife.
It's not the one I met.
No, you haven't met her. No.
Oh, okay.
So my aunt went to her and was just like, I have a question for you. Like,
spilling your tea.
How you okay with me and my wife, but you're not okay with your daughter like dating girls? And checked my mom. And when she checked my mother about that, my mom was just like, damn, like, you right. Like, you right.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's reality. So ever since then, my mom's been more opening to it. Now, will I say, even at my age, even at this big ass age that I am,
right?
Like, I don't bluntly just take girls around my mom unless I know it's something serious, because I know for a fact that it's still fresh for me to still want to be around my mother like that, because I know she never really cared to accept it, but at the same time, she accepts it. But I don't. If it ain't nothing serious, I'm not gonna just keep bringing girls here and here to the crib to meet her and this and that, because again, like, anybody that I bring around my family, I want to feel comfortable. And I want to feel comfortable as well.
That's
you know
good.
what I'm saying? So, I mean, like I said, my family all accepts it now. I mean, obviously they know. And not because I'm in the predicament that I'm in my life right now. Shit, they really ain't got nothing to say but say.
That part.
That's
so
it.
I like that. And I like what you shared, because I think that it's important that you share how your family really kind of didn't really have no say so. But I love the fact how your mother was checked by your aunt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, I didn't have that same experience. My mother was like uncheckable. Like, she was like, between my mother and my dad, I don't know who's more stubborn.
Yeah.
I don't know who's more stubborn, but my mother has finally come around, and I think it's because, like, my current partner, she loves her. And I think it's because my current partner just has like that, I don't know, she has that calmness, that sweet sense. And it's like my mother feels like her spirit. But
Yeah.
like initially, bro, I used to be at college when I was in Alabama, and my mother would be like, "Don't come home. Like, don't come home. You looking like that? Don't come home." And I'm like, but you know, for a while, it took my cousin, who now is like, she was always my best friend, but it took her to kind of like say, "Yo, you do know, like, you could go home, like, it's okay."
Yeah.
But it was because I reverenced, I respected my mother so much. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm doing it. So the next time I talked to my mom, I was like, "Yo, I'm coming home, mommy. I'm coming home."
What you say?
Yeah, I don't care what you say.
At the
I'm
end of the day,
coming
I'm
home.
your daughter. You want to respect it. If you
Yeah.
don't, then we just keep it moving at this point.
But you know, I gotta give a word to my mother. I gotta give her credit because a couple of weeks ago, she actually came to me and she was like, "I apologize for the way I treated you." She was like, "I apologize for that. She was like, it hurts me when I think about what I did, but I believe that I gave her grace because I go to therapy, and I think that going to therapy, I've learned a lot about giving people grace. But I think it's important that we don't hold grudges towards our parents because they were a parent, but they were a person first, and there's no rule books to parenting.
Yeah. To how to even love your kid coming in that situation.
Absolutely. And I know you know that, like, being a foster parent and me being a bonus parent is like, you know, I look at what I go through now and I'm like, dang, I can only imagine what my mother and my father was going through. So, you know, I said, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And so I freed her from that, and I freed myself from ever holding a grudge.
Yeah.
So I love the
I mean,
fact.
you can't hold a grudge with your parents because, again, don't nobody know what life holds when you come into this world. You don't know what you're
That's
going
good.
like. You don't know, you know what I'm saying? I think for my mom, it was more so, you know, she just didn't know how to put it. I think for my mother, this is what it was. I was the golden child in my family. Out of all my cousins, there's 13 of us. I was always the golden child.
Were you perfect, Patty?
I was perfect Patty.
Oh gosh.
I was perfect Patty.
Nah.
There was. I mean, I might be who I am now. If you know who I am, you know. I say what y'all say, but I was perfect Patty, bro. I didn't cuss. I didn't steal. I snitched on you. You stole something from my grandmother. Like, I was that cousin.
Oh no.
So
I
it
couldn't
was
have hung
one
out
of
with
those
you.
things. It was one of those things where it's like my mom was just like, dang, like my daughter gonna be all that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, again, I tell my friends all the time. They're like, man, I remember my mom. Like, to this day now, it'd be so funny to me because she supports all my LGBT events.
Oh,
Back then,
wow.
she would never gave us the grace to do that shit, boy. I would have been. I used to have to hide, block her on Instagram, everything, because I didn't want her to see it.
Oh,
but now now when she started hanging with more gay friends, and she got like her co-workers and everybody are gay, and she was just like, yeah, my daughter does this, my daughter does that, and I'm just in my head like,
okay.
oh.
So
Cool.
let me ask you this. I got a confession. So first time ever me confessing on the CT the CEO podcast is unfiltered. And that is why, because it's raw. It is like uncut, if you will. Like back in the day, what was that BET show called back in the day? Wasn't it BET Uncut?
Yeah.
Yeah, this CT the CEO Uncut. So I had 2 Facebook pages. Still to this day, I do. So if you're on my Facebook page and you see this video, don't go being nosy. But I did. I had a Facebook page for all of like the church people, because I grew up in the church. So I had a Facebook page for the church folks and like the people that knew me. And then I was throwing gay parties back home in Alabama. So I created a party page that ended up becoming the CT page. And so
you're living a two-faced life.
I was definitely living a double life because I didn't know how to just be me. And I think that's important. So transitioning from sexuality, let's get back into the hustle, because you gotta have a straight focus. I feel like you have to have you gotta be a dog in this business. Like you really gotta be cutthroat gutter. So let me ask you, how did you get to being that dog and getting landing a going into management? Let me say that first. Going into being a celebrity manager and managing Tyler Lepley. Why do we always mess his name up? Like, who did that for us?
I did that at the beginning.
Because I know people be saying Lepley, and even when y'all opened up the restaurant, I was like, it's gotta be like Lepley. Like, this is Leplay's.
Yeah.
But it's not, y'all. It's Lepley. So let me free y'all. For all the people that's gonna watch this, let me free y'all. Don't go up to that man talking about he's Lepley. It is Lepley's.
Definitely Lepley's.
So tell me.
I mean, honestly, the dog in me came from all the people who really doubted me. I mean, we all know how that story kind of goes. People doubting you. You know, I've always been a popular kid growing up. I've always had friends, but you know what I'm saying? I never really had like a following to really support me. And it's crazy because you get a bigger fan base by your followers who support you than your friends who support you. And that's the craziest part about it. You know, even to this day, man, like, you know, I'm learning that real phrase they say is lonely at the top. You know what I'm saying?
That's
because I tell you right now, it's definitely like a lonely space. And I don't say lonely as I don't have no friends, lonely I don't have no family. It's just lonely because you don't really know who's for you and who's not for you. And it's lonely because you try to figure out the thing. So the dog in me comes from just making sure that anybody who really don't support me cold-heartedly or for real, I just do this just to show y'all. Like, whatever y'all think about me, whatever y'all feel about me, because I know for me, I don't do no harm, no bad intention to anybody. Like, it don't matter what you feel about me, I'm always going to have that dog in me to finish something. Whatever I'm going to start, I'm going to finish it. And if I don't finish it, then I'm going to circle back and I'm going to get it finished. So for me, it's like, it just really comes from like the unspoken haters that I don't know about. Because I feel like I have my unspoken haters. I feel like people really be in my face laughing, or people really be in my face playing in my face. But in real reality, they really hating on me. So I just think that's what keeps me motivated more than anything. But again, I mean, it's just wanting more for myself and more for my family, more for my friends, more for just anybody around me, because I feel like, you know, once you create this space where you are, like, I have a network where I can go to different cities now, and you can call me and say, hey, Joe, I'm finna go to Boston today. What can I do out there? I'm gonna set you up right. You know what I'm saying? Like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I couldn't do that for you. Yeah. But now I can do that. So for me, it's like you just see the biggest like motion when you put the dog in you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, shit, no, I can go to any goddamn city right now and I can call anybody and I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you work hard for. You work hard for people to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do it for the clout. You're not doing it for the likes. You're not doing it for, oh, she this, she that. Nah, it's just doing it because it makes you feel good as a person.
That's good. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is. Like, for me, it ain't never about the clout, because everybody knows me. I don't like pictures. I don't like videos.
You really don't. You don't even like hugs and stuff, bro.
I'm not on that. Like, again, I have a big heart, but I'm not the most affectionate person. And I ain't the biggest person to have all the attention in the world. I don't care for that.
And if she really like you, she gonna really talk shit. Like, if she likes you, she gonna be like, she's not gonna be nice to you.
That's the cold
like,
love. That's the cold love.
That is definitely the cold love.
That's the cold love.
So so with that being said, how did you start managing Tyler?
So pandemic hit. So pre-Tyler, I was managing a bunch of IG models. Pretty much any IG model that you knew on Instagram, I had them under my wing. Pandemic hit, obviously, you know, world stopped, couldn't do no more managing. At that time, IG models went downhill because now, you know, it was rolling for you, but, you know, IG just, at that time, everybody started doing TikToks and everything, so now they only have to really book these models no more. These models don't even have to do any more package claims or anything like that, or any club hostings. So anyways, long story short, during the pandemic, we booked, I was working at 7th and Grove, we booked Jay Fonz for the Halloween party, which is Little Murder in P-Valley. So we booked him. 7th and Grove had booked him for a Halloween party. I got real connected with him and his manager or whatever. Then I was doing vacations on Sunday at 7th and Grove, and we wanted to book Tyler. So we booked Tyler. I picked him up from the airport. And long story short, me and homie got in the car and we just started chopping it up like we knew each other for freaking, like, you would have thought Tyler and me knew each other for years the way we connected. This is my first time meeting, boy. We got in the car, we ride up 7th and Grove, we party, we have a great time, hang out that same night. We hung out all the way until his flight, had to go the next morning, boom, left. He left his diamond earrings in my car. So he called me, asked me for them, I got it for him, I sent it back to him, cool. You know, then I had somebody hit me up and was like, hey, can you book Tyler Lepley for me? I'm like, yeah, I got his number. I'll hit him up for you. Cool, you know. So, all right, cool. So I hit Tyler up. I said, hey, look, you know, I got some boy who wants to book you over in D.C. Are you interested? He said, yeah. He's like, set it up. I was like, all right, well, do you have a manager? He was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I was like, well, I'll set up for you. I was like, I'll make sure the money gets sent to you, everything, whatever it was. So whatever, cool. I go to Vegas. I get another call. I went to Vegas for my birthday, get another call. And my homeboy's like, hey, I want to book Tyler Lepley. Do you have his contact? I said, yeah, cool. Boom. Hit him up again. Hey, I got somebody now in Philly that want to book you. You interested? He said, yeah. And I was just like, hey, man, like, let me ask you a question. Like, you really don't have a manager? And he was just like, no. I was just like, so you do everything yourself? He was like, yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, I was like, listen, bro, I know you don't know me, but I was just like, if you really need somebody to do that for you, I got you. I was like, I've been doing it for years. I have experience in it. He was like, what's so crazy? He was like, I had a feeling you knew how to do this shit. He was like, when I came to Tampa, he was like, the way you held it down was like a manager's supposed to. He was just like, if you want that hat, it's yours. And I was like, all right, cool. And then after that, I was like, cool. I got him, decided to get this contract signed. Let's get this rolling. That first month I worked with him, I locked in about $45,000 in hostess.
Whoa.
That first month with him, locked in about $45,000 in hostess. And at that point, he was just like, psh, this your job.
That's what's up, Joe. That's what's up. So like, I feel like that's the definition of stay ready. You don't got to get ready, because you were ready for the opportunity. And number two, what I like about that story, Jovi, is that you were not afraid of the ask, bro. Like, you were not afraid to say, hey, put me in the game, coach, because this is what I do. And I think oftentimes we don't really get in the game and be like, yo, this is me. Sometimes we stay too humble. I think it's a harmonious balance of popping your shit, popping your collar, whatever they call it. But it's also like a humility that you have to have, and you got to know when to press that gas. So I think that's good. So you began managing him, and then you were still at doing the daycations. So how did you go from daycations? Like, what was the transition like for you, like going from daycation, because y'all had the hottest thing, like that party? I really didn't even go there outside of that like night, which was Sunday, and then I would go there, of course, to see you. But how did you transition from daycations to like owning your own restaurant? So those of you who are like watching across the globe, Lepley's is in Seminole Heights in Tampa, Florida. It is a must-see tourist attraction that you have to come to. They got great food. Them lamb chops, I'm telling you, even if you don't even like lamb chops, you never had them before, lamb your chop at Lepley's. I'm just telling you. So let's get to it. Tell me more.
I mean, with that, 7th and Grove, we had a good little run. We did about a good 4 years with them. Great run. We ended up parting ways. Me and my partners with 7th and Grove. At that point, I wasn't promoting no more. So I was kind of like, I never wanted to go back to promotion. I was already kind of on the way out of promoting. I was already getting tired of it. It gets tired of doing promotions every week. Every week, same thing. Every week, same people. Just, it's a lot. At that time, too, I had a lot of health issues going on. So I kind of was really just like, I'm ready for a change. And when we ended up parting with 7th and Grove, me and Tyler, we'd be on the road. We'll go to different restaurants in different cities that had the vibe that Lepley's has now. And one day he came up with just, hey, man, I want to open up something. I said, yeah, me too. He was just like, what you want to open up? I was like, I want like a little nice little restaurant lounge for my city. I was like, I feel like, Tampa needs that. He was just like, well, if you want to do it, just let me know. Like, we'll do it together. I'm like, all right, cool. He could have went to LA. He could have went to Atlanta.
Absolutely.
But he just knew, and I knew, and I mean, I'm from Tampa, so I know. But he was like, I want to do it in Tampa because you are popping in Tampa. He was just like, and I know with your influence, my influence, we can do this. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So pretty much that's really how it all came to transpire. Like, we ended up just getting the building. Somebody called me with the offer. And I called him. I said, hey, I got a building. If we're going to do it, we got to move on it ASAP. I was like, it's a no-brainer. It's a nice little ticket.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just run it. And he was just like, let's go. And that's really how it transpired. It was just talking about it for some months, waiting for that right building to come along. And when that right building came along, that's how Lepley's really transpired.
But I love that, though, because all throughout your story, and if as y'all are tuning in, you're going to be able to like hear, you keep bringing it back home. And I love that, because oftentimes in our culture, in Black culture, sometimes we graduate from colleges and we don't really, pour back into that alumni fund. sometimes we leave home and it's like we forget about it. And you know, your heart has always been with Tampa, and I love that. I love that because it's things that I'm like working on now currently to take back and do some things in Alabama because, you know, I always tell people I'm rooted in Bama, but I'm planted here.
Yeah.
And no matter where God takes me, I always want to make sure that I do the will and whatever he's called me to do. And I love that you have always kept your purpose like for the city and wanting to see the city enhanced. And I love that. So with that being said, let me ask you this because we got a few more minutes, but I got to ask you because I know the ladies going to be checking because you always had the hottest chicks around you. Tell me, so what's the love life like with being a restaurateur? So like you're a manager, you're a foster parent, you a hustler, you are, you know, a A1 from day one. What's your love life like? Like, what is that like? So, are you available? So, if the hotties jump in my DM and they be like, "Yo, put me on Joe, can I like shoot them the DM number, or you want me to like?
Yeah, you can shoot them the number.
Press pause. Okay, so what is your type? What is your type? What
you
is
know
your
my type,
type?
CT. I ain't gonna put it out there, but you know my type,
because
man.
your last type, I ain't like that type. So what?
Nobody like that type.
No, because let me tell you, I'm a loyal person to my friends, like ride or die, baby. Listen, I ain't even gonna tell them that because see, they're gonna be all in our business. But at any rate, I'm a loyal friend. So I want my friends to be with people who love, appreciate, and cherish them. And Jovi has a big heart. Now, when it's off, it's off. Like, don't cross her. But she has a big heart. And when she's in relationships, she's always giving. And let me tell you, I'm a giver and I'm a give. But I be having an expiration date. Jovi be like them stores, you know, when you go in them stores and it be like, they be having expired food and it's like they still allow you to use it. It's like, that's how Jovi be. So I didn't like that last type because I felt like the last type was very ungrateful. Even though it was kind of like a situationship.
Yeah.
But I felt like that last type was ungrateful. And I felt like it was ungrateful because you can't do so much for a person and then act blind like you don't realize that that person is rocking and riding with you. And I just feel like you gotta have it's your character. When somebody's riding for you like that and they there for you when you don't have and picking you up from nothing to something or helping you grow and become and build, those are the intangible things that keep us connected. And so if you could like basically like on that person, like no, like there's no way that I could ever be for you. So for all the ladies that's watching, what is your type?
Honestly, I don't have a type.
Okay.
I'll say that. I'm just more so a connection. If I can get that connection with you, I think anything from there could just work. I mean, I ain't the type of person to look at looks and deceive. I mean, obviously can't be, you know, whatever. But you feel me? But I mean, at the end of the day, like, I just like a girl who's upkeep, you know what I'm saying? They passionate, they very loyal, and they, you know, a connection is just what I'm looking for. And at the end of the day, it's not about what you got, what you don't have. Like, I can work with all that stuff. Like, that comes and goes, you feel me?
Okay, I'm gonna have to give you that, but I can't do no more Build-A-Bears.
No, that's where I stopped. Build-A-Bear is not happening no more. It's all right. But
let me tell you.
now I feel you. And those are lessons that I learned in my last two previous, you know, situations. But at the same time, like, it's not about a type for me, honestly. It's more so a connection. Like, if I can connect with you and I can trust you and I feel comfortable with you and I can, you know, my biggest thing is I just want to build. I want to build an empire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to trust you. Feel like when I'm on the road, I can trust everything you got going on. Just know that when I'm on the road, I'm really just here to literally just build a life for our future. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the future. I'm not looking for right now. You know,
a visionary.
I'm visionary. Like, you know, it's past situation. That's what I wanted. It didn't work out that way. But you know, that's really what I'm looking for. It's not about my type. It's really about what fits in with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can understand me. I can understand you. I can feel what you got going on. You can feel what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? You know, I need some type of uplift, and I can up. Like, it's just always.
What about the
back
shape?
and forth.
I mean, I know you said you like the connection, but like, I really don't understand. Like, so let me tell you, I can't date like butt ugly. Like y'all can
Yeah, I
judge me
can't
if
do
you
butt
want
ugly
to.
either. I could do a
I
nice
can't date butt
petite
ugly.
body. I mean, again, I'm chubby cool, but I need a nice chick, petite. I like my petite women. I like my
You like a
light skin.
they
I like
gotta
a
be
little
thick
light
for
skin.
me. You like
I
a
like
little
petite. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? That's just. Nah, I
yeah.
think I'm my daddy's child, man. I like when my daddy be like in little petite ones, type of
Mm.
deal, little fly ones.
Well,
You know
I
what I'm
gotta be
saying?
my daddy child because my stepmama got a. She's gonna watch this and she gonna know. Like, listen, I'm definitely my daddy child because my stepmother. And I say stepmom because it's hard for me to say like mom number two because honestly,
Stepmom.
yeah, but like bonus mom. I be calling her
Yeah.
my bonus mom, honestly, because she has really held the glue. And she just came to visit me for like a week, almost a week. And I miss her now. Like
Yeah.
she is awesome. And so I know I gotta be my daddy's child because like my girl now, she got a badonk.
Yeah, I can't do. I don't think I can
can't
do all
that.
that.
No.
I like petite. I don't know why. It's always been in me. Every girl I've ever dated or every girl I've ever caught interest in is petite. Like they way better in shape than me. They get me with me in the shape. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
that's good.
Like that's just how I've always been. So it's not like it's just. But yeah, I can't date no butt ugly chick. Like that ain't happening. Like,
Yeah, because if I
and
wake
I
up,
think is, and I really hate when there be girls that really do fall into that category. Like they cool as hell. But you be like, nah, I can't.
yeah, because I can't wake up mad and then I'm looking like, man,
Yeah,
oh,
like I'm
you
just
know.
like I'm good. Like, I got a chick right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to. She cool, you know what I'm saying? But the real reality is like she's bad, but the connection got to be there. So like I don't want to force. I can't force a connection with nobody. You can't. It just happens.
That's fair.
And that's really what my situation was previously. Like I really had a connection with somebody that it just grew and grew and grew over the years. A lot of ups and downs, and we still was always there for each other when we needed to be on certain things. Now I'm not saying for everything, but on certain things, you know what I'm saying? But I mean that's really what it is for me. Like I know what I want, I know what I can bring to the table, I know what I can do for you.
You bring more than the table, Job. Some days you done bought the house. You done brought the house.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you done brought it
but again, it's not that I want. I want to be able to have somebody can bring the same for me. That's
All
really
right.
what I'm looking at.
So check it. We about to get ready to wrap up. So just for the viewers, I almost named the CT the CEO podcast. I almost named it the Black Sheep, right? And because I always felt like I was the black sheep of my family. I always felt like, all of my other cousins, like, like the ones that I was actually around, I just always felt different. Like I always felt like the underdog. And I wanted to name the podcast the Black Sheep because the black sheep is really like a superpower. It's not a disadvantage, it's an advantage. And so I created a moment in this segment. And so 60 seconds to talk about or to inspire those, like, what would you tell someone that feels like the black sheep? How would you inspire them? Like, what would you tell them? I like that.
I only say f them because you know what? It's the worst feeling in the world when you f black sheep. And sometimes they can really hold you back for a long time. And it held me back for a while. I mean, like I said, I was a golden child in my family, but then when I was at my lowest, I was the black sheep. Nobody wanted to deal with me in my family. Everybody was talking shit about me. My own grandmother on my dad's side, when she was in prison, she used to talk about me from jail phone. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird and wild, but it's like at the end of the day, it's just be like, it's the worst feeling. So for me, it's just like, and I've learned that the hard way when I really hit rock bottom. When I was living house to house, living in my cousin's house, living in my dad's ex-girlfriend's kid's house. Like, I was all over the place at one point in my life. So for me, it was like not to have the support, because I know for me, it doesn't matter if I have $1 in my pocket, $100,000, $1 million in my pocket, I'm gonna always be there for somebody I care about. It don't matter how bad I don't like you, what you're going through, what it is, I'm gonna be there for you. So for me, when I didn't have that, I just learned how to say f*** 'em.
I love it. So to all my black sheep out there, for those, it's not a dig, it's your superpower, because a lot of times your rejection or the places that you feel like you don't fit in is like your saving grace. So Jovi said. So lastly, Jovi, how can they reach you? How can they pull up at Lepley's, holler at you? Give them the rundown and the skinny, and then we about that. Holla.
Jovi York on Instagram. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
She's so smooth, y'all.
And then if you want to go to Lepley's, go to Lepley's.com.
Lepleys.com, Jovi York, Instagram. You ain't got no Facebook?
Nope. And you can't have my phone number, so.
Can't have a phone number. All right. Hit my DM, ladies.
That's
I
it.
got you.